McGuirk, and was born the 4th of May 1918 in Temora on Deboo Street. And we lived at Tara. We'd come in and we'd go, of course, to the Shamrock Hotel and feed there. And they give our order at O'Day's grocery stores on the corner there where the bearing place is. And then we go out to grandfather and grandpa's place out at Meyer Sodas on the Young Road, and stay the night there and come back in the next day and pick up our groceries and go 27 mile back out to Tara. My grandmother knew Ned Kelly. Her parents worked on the station, and he had morning tea with them. He gave her 2 shillings the day before. Yeah, and another time there was 2 of the girls out shepherding sheep, and he rode up to them and he says, "Where do you live, little girl?" She said, "Over there." He said, "You bloody little liar, you don't. You live over there." He knew where they lived. Grandfather, his brother was a policeman. He was out after Ned Kelly. And Henry, he followed him right up to the Murray River at the time he robbed the bank of jewellery, and then went across the river to the flood, and he wouldn't go across the river. And he went back home. I left school there in 1932, and that was the time the big fire was up in the main street of Hoskins, and they're from Rita Michael's Corner, went right up to the Temora Hotel. That was a Tattersall Hotel in those days, and burnt that. Nicholson's jeweller store was the next building on, and then it was the West Royal Exchange, the hotel where Sadie Michaels was. 3 years on next week, on 1st of June, since she died, passed away, and we'd been married. If she lasted another 33 days, we would have been married 75 years. We might have had a few arguments, but I just used to shut up. And we never had a blue in our whole life, all those years. We had a shop in 1938. We bought a shop where around about bakery is. Had that for 10 years. And I worked in that. We used to open at 8 o'clock in the morning, closed at 12 o'clock at night in those days. And because the picture theatre always had to be open after the pictures come out, somebody wanted ice cream or something like that. Hard work, always been. I loved work. I mean, I worked at 10 years. I was Miller and James for 20 odd years. I went out. I was on a petrol truck once, and I had to go out and loaded 17 full drums of diesel fuel off the ground on my own. And I tell you what, it had nearly knocked me up. I remember my dad bought the first car I bought in 1922. It was a Chev 4, and sold it in the Depression days for £10. The tractor, he bought a new Fordson tractor in 1920. I'm not sure whether 26 or 27. And had that right through. Had a few, started a couple of fires with it. And John Bradman, we used to walk where we lived out there. We had to walk over through saffron thistles about this high over to Ronnie Gush's place. He had a wireless, and we didn't have a wireless. And what's the name? I remember Don Bradman. At the time he got 304 or 300. I was on the committee of the Violin Club, and they wanted me to go greenkeeping, and I couldn't have went at a better time because the greens was in a very bad state. I heard about this new grass that was up in Queensland, up there, and I planted it into the nursery and kept expanding it. Had it grown that fast, that it was 10 inches a night. I used to mark it, and that's how fast it was growing. And I planted the first green. I planted the one in front of the clubhouse, and I planted it on the 8th of October, and it was added back in play before Christmas. And a few years later, we had the Gold Rush prayers here. Bobby King said to me, he said, I play all over the state, And he said, they've all got 3 greens, but he said, they've always got one bad one. You haven't even got a bad one amongst them. Well, I still got a list of all the shops that used to be here back in the 20s and 30s. You know, I can remember them all, the shops. And I love Temora, yeah, definitely, yes.